For this lesson, you will be completing a committed actions map that will help you visualize your committed actions plan. You will need a copy of the committed action plan as we outline in each section how to fill out your map. Having a plan that helps you stay on track and making decisions in line with your values is important in ACT and positive parenting. Committed actions are not binding agreements that determine your worth as a parent or as a person, rather than a set of guidelines that help define what it is you're trying to do. This action plan aids you in your journey to changing old habits and creating new ones that are in line with the values you said matter to you. You may be wondering where you start when creating committed actions. Well, the best place to start is by reflecting on your values and what they mean to you and the decisions you make. Once you've identified your why in your values, you can move forward with creating a manageable plan for self-regulated positive parenting. The first step after evaluating your values is identifying some of the common events that happen within your home that challenge your ability to make positive parenting choices. These events can be anything from unwanted behaviors in the home to managing everyday nuances of parenting, like schedules, chores, or sleepovers. Additional areas to consider are stressors that happen outside of the home, such as burnout from work, lack of support, illness, trauma, food insecurity, or other concerns that bring on stress. It's essential that you're honest in this part of the roadmap because what you identify here will help you in making decisions in the end. In acceptance and commitment therapy, we practice being present in each moment without considering it a good or bad moment, feeling, or situation. You're more than what is happening around you, and when thinking about your life situations in this section of the roadmap, avoid placing words like bad or good with your situations. Take a moment to reflect on an event such as a recent stressor that's happened and fill out this portion of your committed actions map. As you reflect on this event or behavior that happened in your home or at work or in life, be descriptive in what happened. You may consider writing down the event itself, how many times it happened, who it impacted, and the consequences of the situation. An example of an event could be your child didn't wake up to their alarm for the third time this week and didn't respond to your pleas either. When they did not wake up on time, it required additional time in the morning to get ready and out the door. On the way to school or work, you yelled at them the entire way and grounded them for a month. When you got to work, you were reprimanded. The next step in your committed action plan is to identify how you feel when a negative situation or event happens. When identifying feelings, it's important to remember that one event can share two feelings or emotions that can be conflicting. When identifying feelings, it's important to remember that one event can have two feelings or emotions and they can be conflicting. For example, you can feel anger and sadness during a situation, and each feeling is valid and should be addressed. As you reflect on your feelings, if there are two emotions that arise, you should seek to identify and look at each one separately. Now's a great time to reflect on the feelings that arise from the situation you thought about. You may also use this opportunity to utilize some of the strategies practiced at the beginning of the module to practice being present and accepting of any difficult thoughts, feelings, or emotions. Digging up past situations or critically thinking about a situation that brings up raw emotions is difficult. But you're doing a great job. Focus on your breathing and the signals your body gives you. Remember to create committed action. We must understand how we feel, that it's okay to feel this way. The next step in our committed actions roadmap is identifying how we want to feel. Using acceptance and commitment therapy in parenting is not about the things that bring us down, make us feel inadequate, or bring out the worst in your parenting or lives. It's the exact opposite, as it seeks to help you identify how you want to feel and create guided actions to live within your values. From the feelings, thoughts, or emotions mentioned previously, which of those would you like to change and how? How do you wish to feel after a conversation or interaction with your child has occurred, or after making a parenting decision? Be sure to be specific in bodily sensations, emotions, and thoughts. You may say, when my child has made a mistake and I have to provide corrective action, I hope to leave the conversation feeling like I was in control of my body, calm and positive. If you identified stressors such as work burnout and the feelings of inadequacy in other areas of your life that do not relate to parenting but do affect your parenting, this work is especially important. Many factors in our lives can feel out of our control, and our response to those is within our controllable limits. Identifying how we want to feel during these tough moments gives us a glimpse of positivity, the light at the end of the tunnel. Even if how you want to feel is as small as not feeling angry all night after work or wanting to feel relaxed at home, all of it matters. Use your committed actions map and identify how you want to feel in the specific situation you chose. Reflect on how you want to feel while the situation is happening in real time, while you're reacting and after you have reacted. Your reflection may include phrases such as, "I want to feel calm and in control," or "I want to feel happiness in the decision I made." You may also want to consider a whole body experience that indicates that you are in control and calm, such as relaxed shoulders, controlled breathing, or calm thoughts. Consider thinking about the values you chose and how the way you feel is connected to each value. The final step of ACT is to encourage positive actions rooted in the values that you chose. Committed actions are guided by your values and bound by how you want to feel after committing to that specific action. These committed actions can vary and include reframing your thoughts about situations and mapping out how you plan to carry out parenting decisions and other life choices that you feel need improvement. One way to define your committed actions is to evaluate the triggers and past choices you defined in your action map and use those to redefine and improve decision-making for the future. For example, suppose you identify that your child making a mistake or getting in trouble at school makes you unhappy and causes you to yell at them. And after yelling, you feel bad, and this additional stress causes your shoulders to hurt and racing thoughts. In this example, you may decide that yelling isn't the solution and commit to another action that is in line with your values and provides you with the satisfaction of feeling how you said you want to feel. An important part of committed actions is remembering that these are not hard rules, but act as a guide to assist you in creating the life you want. There are no right or wrong actions and are unique to your values in life, parenting, and your unique situation. Take a second to reflect on the scenario you've created in your action map. You've determined what the trigger is and how it makes you feel, as well as verbalizing how you want to feel. Using your values as a guide, you may consider reflecting on the various ways you can respond in your scenario that are positive and productive to this positive parenting approach. In the example of the child who's made a mistake, you might consider committing to teaching a valuable lesson through conversation instead of yelling. In your action plan, it may be helpful to also write out what mindfulness skill you'll use to regulate your own emotions to stay in line with your values and connect the specific value that is guiding the decision. For example, I want to commit to deep breathing exercises before responding to my child's mistakes. I also want to make sure that I do not have any tension in my shoulders, as this feeling lets me know I'm not ready to move into the conversation. These actions are guided by happiness. You may want to consider all of the scenarios that come up in your home, at work, or in your personal life and create an action plan for each. You can do this over time and slowly, so you won't feel overwhelmed with these new skills.